Hi, I'm Jess. I'm a fitness instructor and content creator sharing my love of athleisure wear, body inclusive fitness, and New York City. And this is Jess McKay Live, the podcast where I answer your questions about life, Lululemon, and love. Self-love. Let's get into it. What episode is this, Ryan?
This is episode number 10.
Oh my goodness. It's been so long. We've kind of left it at about 2 weeks because we had to take last week off.
Yeah, we only missed one, but then that feels like a long time.
It feels like a long time. I remembered the intro, but I couldn't remember which episode this was. So welcome to episode 10. Here we are. Thank you so much to everyone who has been supporting me and listening to this podcast. I really appreciate hearing how you're enjoying it. Don't forget to share this with your friends. And we're going to share a few updates for now. So how you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing well. We are a week into not having the dogs. So we were talking about this podcast that it's probably going to have fewer edits than it normally does because we aren't going to have the dogs to interrupt us.
Isn't that funny when you have a dog that they could just be minding their own business? They don't care. But the second you do something that is not paying attention to them, the second you answer a phone call, the second you work on a computer, then they want to be the center of attention. Whereas normally they're just like happy to be sleeping on the bed, happy to soak up the sun. But the second you do something else, they demand.
I think especially because we're in the other room. They're like, oh, I want to be in there. And
right.
Then it's woken them up to be into the other room and then they have the energy to do things.
Exactly. So we don't have the dogs today, unfortunately. But that's because we're going to Disney World. Not this week coming, but the next week. So very excited about that trip. And don't worry, we will still be going live on my TikTok Tuesday and Thursday, but we're going to be going live from Florida, from the parks. So make sure to tune into those. They're going to be super, super fun. Hopefully Wi-Fi or data connection is strong enough that we can. I know that there are lots of people who live stream Disney parks content on a daily basis. So don't know how it goes for competing for Wi-Fi or data, but we'll be competing because we got to talk about Lululemon. So, more updates. Last week, we were in Toronto. We were staying at the St. George Kimpton Hotel as a part of Doggy Bathroom's launch. So, if you don't know this about me, Ryan and I work for Doggy Bathroom, and we run their TikTok account and make video content for them that they can share across their platforms. So, we got to go both as TikTokers for the company, but as well as doggy influencers, because Iggy Adelaide is our Instagram and TikTok for our dogs.
Who has more followers than any of us.
They still have more followers than me. And you know, I thought that I had a lot of followers here. I thought I had a lot of subscribers and fans, but my dogs, they have more than me. So
cuteness sells.
Cuteness sells. Are you saying I'm not cute? What's happening here? Cut. No. It is a whole different world being on the internet as yourself, as opposed to being a dog influencer. I will say that's how we sort of started this journey with social media. And it's a whole different ball game showing up on camera as yourself and not just, using cute pictures of your dog and videos.
Yeah, but in the same way that this podcast is not going to get interrupted, there are some things that go smoother. So during the day, we had a photo shoot with all of the other influencer dogs that were there, and I got to be there to take like behind the scenes stuff. And I will say it was great, except for the times when the dogs needed a rest. And then we kind of didn't have anything to do because the dogs are unavailable like more often than just a human would be able to, right? The photographer was able to work all the way through, which theoretically means like a human model would be able to as well, but it didn't happen.
But that's okay. We love dogs so much. So working for that company is a huge joy in our lives. And it just gives us an excuse to keep going with the dog content, even if for our own personal brands, we're pursuing different things.
Right, because you talk about clothes and I talk about electric cars, and it is nothing to do with the dogs on our personal. And I feel like some people do make their personal, like,
combined with the dog
as a dog parent.
Yeah. Dog mom, dog parent.
But for us, we have lots of interests.
Exactly. We got lots of outlets for to talk about all of our passions. But any other updates, Ryan? We had that big week, very exciting. We came back to New York, and since then, we've just been working on content. We have a huge update, actually. This just came out today, but we've just announced that we're switching text list providers. So if you are someone who has been a part of my amazing text list, you'll know that we've been kind of unhappy with the provider that we started with. And we had no idea that the text list would grow so much. And that's all thanks to you. Without you here and all of our tech subscribers, it wouldn't have grown. So we didn't know we needed a bigger plan or a bigger company. And now we know what we want. We are moving to a new provider. And you can transfer over by signing up. I will have sent this by now when you're seeing this. You will have received a text if you're on my text list already. Or make sure to go to the link in the description here or the link in my bio on TikTok or Instagram, my link tree. And you can sign up just afresh for the first time to my new text list. If you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, my text list is how I communicate with all of my friends here. On Tuesdays, we do new release Tuesdays at Lululemon. I go live on TikTok and I send out a text as soon as I see things drop. Same thing happens. Thursdays is We Made Too Much Thursday. That's when the We Made Too Much section at Lululemon updates with new markdowns. So all those items that you've been looking for months to go to markdown prices, Thursday mornings is when that page gets updated. And I also send a text on Thursdays. And then there's a third function here for the text list. If you have an item that is constantly sold out, you can't seem to locate it, you can't seem to find it, you can request a restock notification. Now, this is just Ryan and I working behind the scenes trying to see when something restocks, and then we will send you a text if you've submitted your request. So a huge item that people request is the Everywhere belt bag. Right now, sold out like hotcakes. It's just gone. And usually it drops on Tuesdays or Thursdays that a new color would drop, but the restocks can be super random. And that's a question I get a lot. When are they restocking? We never know. So that's just Ryan and I keeping our eyes peeled on the website and contacting you as soon as we do see it, hopefully before it sells out again. So that's the third function. You can sign up and request restock notifications. There's a form. If you sign up, you'll find out. So that was a huge update for us because that kind of took all of yesterday. We had an onboarding session with our new provider, and hopefully, everything's going to be going according to plan.
Yeah. So for the next week, you're going to text both numbers, and then we're switching over to the new one completely.
Totally. And already you guys are nailing it. Our onboarding session, they predicted from a text list of the size that we have that we would get maybe 300 people crossing over, and over a period of time, it'll take, a little while for you to get 300 subscribers. So make sure to contact us when you get to your 300 subscribers. Well, it's been how many hours?
About 3 hours.
It's been 3 hours and we've got over 500. So we're going to get in contact and see what to do about that next. If you've been following along with my TikTok, you will know that we have been doing a Lululemon Spotlight series. And that was based on the series or the segment that we do here on this podcast. So today's Lululemon Spotlight is going to be crossover from here on this podcast onto TikTok as well. And today's item is the Invigorate training tank top. So I've talked about the Align tank. I don't know if I've talked about other tank tops. I'm not sure, but this is my second favorite tank top from Lululemon. This is the Invigorate training tank top. And you might have clued in from the word Invigorate that it's made with the same fabric as the Invigorate high-rise tight. So the Invigorate high-rise tight and Invigorate training tank top are both made for training. Anything that's high intensity, sweaty, anything that is going to need sweat wicking and be more durable for intense workouts, it's Everlux fabric. That's what is in the Invigorate training tank top. A really great thing about this tank top as well is that it has the built-in bra, so you don't have to worry about pairing it with your favorite bra. It's built in. It's not high neck, but it's also not low. It's kind of a nice, like, medium high. Don't know how to describe it, but it has nice coverage. So if you're looking, again, for something like high impact sweaty workouts, this is definitely a great tank. It's very similar to the Align tank high neck. However, slightly different design. And like I said, the fabric is different. The Align tanks are made with Nulu fabric, which is a little more delicate, buttery soft. The Everlux fabric is still going to be soft, but it's going to be way more durable and great for those intense moments. So right now, there are a few colors, a few designs. It's available in sizes 0 through 20. Keep that in mind as well. I'm really glad that this one has the full size range. And for me, I usually wear about a size 12. All right. Well, that was the Lululemon Spotlight. I hope that you try this one if you have not tried it yet. And don't forget, if you are shopping at Lululemon, to use the link in the description here or my link in bio on TikTok and Instagram, because that is what helps support me. And it supports me in the form of a small commission with each purchase. So if you click on my link when you're shopping, it helps to support me because I'm a part of the Lululemon Collective. So if you see me use hashtag Lululemon Creator as my hashtag, and sometimes you'll see it on TikTok, it'll say like hashtag ad or any of my sponsored and approved posts here on YouTube, you'll know it's a part of me being in this program. So thank you so much to everyone who supports me and uses that link. It shows Lululemon as well that you love my content, and then they continue to want to work with me. So thank you so much. And while this is not a sponsored podcast, you can use that link, and that does help me. All right, Ryan, what's the topic for today?
Top fives.
Top fives. What does that mean?
This is definitely inspired by one of our favorite podcasts to listen together, Top 4.
Oh, yes.
It has Marco and Tiffany Arment, and they are also a married couple, and they go through and pick a topic. They will make a whole episode about one topic where they're ranking their top 4 of something. So some of their best episodes are where they have done taste tests for things.
My gosh, they're so funny. Highly recommend this podcast. Of course, we're being inspired by it. So definitely recommend. But yes, taste tests.
They also sometimes, for the taste test ones, they will go through and taste 20 different things and then pick their top 4 each separately from that. And then they also have some where they sort of bring a list and they, from that list, pick out what their favorites are. I feel like that is sort of what this is going to be like.
Yeah.
And we have a bunch of different topics. We picked out 10 different topics for you to pick a top 5 from. The first is Lululemon Colors.
Lululemon Colors. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I get this question every day. I'm not going to lie. I get this question every day. Favorite Lululemon color? Number 1, ripened raspberry. Number 2, I'm trying to think of what colors I have the most of, but at the moment, I'm going to say probably charged indigo. And another color, number 3, let's say poolside. This is heavily influenced because these colors were just coming from summer. Number 4, water drop. Number 5, Tidewater teal, with an honorable mention to Java and smoked spruce. So that was 7, but it's very hard for me to choose, as you can see. So let's say number 1, ripened raspberry. And then we went from there. Charged indigo, poolside,
Water drop, Tidewater
teal, Java and smoked spruce.
And not Sonic Pink.
You know what? I went through a battle in my head about Sonic Pink versus ripened raspberry. And I love both. I'm literally staring at my clothes right now and I see Sonic Pink, magenta purple. I don't even see ripened raspberry over here. Well, no, there's the scuba. But it's tough. And I just love so many different shades. Like, I also love Blue Nile, but I chose poolside because I think I might have more poolside at this point. But I truly love both. And all of those colors I mentioned, I have multiple items in. So we'll just put it that way.
Next is Lululemon Items.
Oh my goodness, Lululemon Items. So I started with 1, but should I rank up?
Yeah, maybe go from 5.
Okay. 5, let's say Everywhere belt bag. I'm really in love with the Everywhere belt bag large, just to let you know, but we'll just say regular Everywhere belt bag with the extended strap now. Number 4, Define jacket. Number 3, oversized scuba. Doesn't matter if it's full zip or half zip.
Or funnel neck.
Or funnel neck. Number 2, Wonder Train. Number 1, Align tanks. And I kind of think that the Align tank high neck is maybe like the top. And if I have to choose between scubas, I think the oversized full zip might be my favorite, but it's really dependent on which color because some of them only come in half zip or full zip. For example, the strawberry milkshake scuba half zip, love it so much. If it was also in the full zip that was sold, I probably might choose that instead. But I really do love both. It's whenever I'm in the mood for it.
And no shoes.
Oh, I didn't even think of shoes. But I will say Blissfeel versus Chargefeel. I think my favorite out of all of them might be the Chargefeel mids. I really like how it hugs around the ankle. And you do have to wear sort of a higher sock with it. So keep that in mind just for comfort and to make sure it's not going to be uncomfortable for your ankle, rubbing up against the back of your ankle. So longer socks for that. But those are the ones I'm gravitating towards right now, the Chargefeel mids.
Next, we have your favorite flavors.
Favorite flavors. Well, number 5, I'm going to go with cinnamon. Number 4, are these flavors like, can it be like chip flavors too?
Sure.
Okay, so 5, cinnamon, 4, salt and vinegar. I'm such a vinegar girl, and salt and vinegar chips. Love it. Number 3, vanilla. Number 2, pumpkin spice. And number 1, I'm going to say toffee nut. So anything that is like toffee nut or, oh, this is so hard though, because I like toffee nut, like a caramel toffee kind of flavor, but also like hazelnut. So toffee nut, it's a Starbucks flavor, but honestly, like anything that is a combination of either caramel or hazelnut, I love it.
Number 4, we have vacation destinations.
Vacation destinations. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, number 5, let's say Vegas. I used to go there as a kid. My parents took me on a few trips there. I once asked to go back to Vegas for my birthday. So I really loved going to Vegas, seeing all the different hotels. I didn't play anything at the casino. Obviously, I was too young for that when I was a kid. But I feel like I would like to go back as an adult. It would be kind of fun. So number 5, Vegas. Number 4, let's say... Oh, this is so tough because I keep just thinking of my European vacations and I can't choose what's my favorite. So number 4, let's say Germany. Number 3, we're going to say Italy because I actually minored in Italian, if you didn't know that. And I spent some time there for school. Number 2, let's say Austria. Absolutely loved Austria. And number 1, it's going to be a fight between Switzerland or England. I absolutely love England, and I honestly wanted to move there at one point in my life. Ended up going to school in Boston instead, and now we're on an American adventure. So, of course, next week we're going to Disney World. I didn't include that, but you could probably tie in Disney World alongside Vegas. American tourist spots.
Okay, then we have number 5, Lululemon stores in New York City.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we've been to a bunch of them, but if we're going to rank them from 5 to 1, we're going to start with 5, the Flatiron. Number 4, I feel like this one people think is the number 1, and that's fine, but I'm going to say Soho. And that's where the Charge Feel event was. Super fun. But there's just something, I don't know, like it's a little bit more out of the way to get to for where we live. But also just like, I don't know, I feel like it's almost like I don't get the hype. It is a store that gets a lot of new product. And like I said, it had the Charge Feel event there. But for me personally, I feel like, I don't know. It's cool. It's cool. But it's not the one that we frequent a lot. Number 3, I'm going to do Columbus Avenue. So that one's Upper West Side, but it just changed. It was on Broadway, and I think that one's closing now, and they just built a new one. It's small, but they still have lots of great product. It's also near a Magnolia Bakery, so that's a plus. And yeah, I feel like it's kind of out of the way, and it's not very touristy. It's kind of like a chill place to shop if you kind of live in the area. So that one's kind of fun. Number 2... I'm trying to remember all the stores, but I know what number 1 is. So that's, I'm like, what's left in between? Oh, number 2 is Columbus Circle. So I really like the Columbus Circle store. It's got 2 levels. The top level is just men's attire. And I feel like, I don't know, it's in a nice sort of shopping area that's really open and it's easy to get to. I love it. Number 1, hands down, it's the flagship. Global flagship. This is the Fifth Avenue store. Now, this store has how many levels?
4.
4 levels?
Well, 3.
Has the basement.
It's got 3 plus the mezzanine for the shoes.
Right. So it has lots of levels. Has an elevator, first of all. They also do the heat press there that they don't do anywhere else. And it's the heat press of the New York skyline. And it still says like at Lululemon on it. But yeah, so I love that you can get items heat pressed. And I love that it is just so big. It has a huge display for the shoes, like a whole level for the shoes that kind of overhangs. You can look over the first floor of the store. It's just so gorgeous. And it's on Fifth Avenue. It's fun. It's cool. So that's my number 1.
Next, we have Lululemon stores in Toronto.
Ooh, okay. Well, number 5, I'm going to go with Cumberland. It's small, but I used to shop there a lot when I went to U of T. I was at the Faculty of Music, which is in that area. So special shout out there. That's the first time I ever asked anyone about working at Lululemon as well. I remember talking to one of the educators on the floor. And I was like, oh, I would love to work here. And then we started chatting and she took my email and I applied that night and got an interview. I didn't end up working there. My schedule didn't work with their requirements, unfortunately, but it was super fun and I really liked the vibe in that store. Since I went into that location, it's actually changed locations, I believe, or it's gotten a big reno. It's changed, the Cumberland store, from the first time I went in.
So that's Yorkville area for people that know Toronto.
Right. So super fun. That's number 5. Number 4, I'm going to say Eaton Center. It is huge, but the Eaton Center is just so busy. It's in a mall and it's always so busy. It did also get a huge reno. It moved. Before it moved, maybe it would have been in number 5, but it's going to be in number 4 now because it moved and it's much bigger, very cool. And yeah, it's also near the Chapters Indigo if you want to go book shopping. That's fun. Number 3, we're going to say, trying to think. Oh, Briar Hill. So Ryan and I lived close to the Briar Hill location and we enjoyed going there. I liked it because it was sort of small and a little off the beaten path. Not off the beaten path like it's on a big main road, but it was not so busy like going to Eaton Center, anything like that. I felt like you could get individual attention. I know everyone always tries, but you know, it's just a little easier. Number 2, Yorkdale Mall. This one is busy, but if you go at good times, it's not too bad. And this is where I worked. So I worked at Yorkdale Mall's Lululemon twice. First time I worked, it was at a different location in the mall, and then it moved. And when it moved, it got a bit of a reno. It looked really nice. And yeah, so that's number 2, because, you know, nostalgia, soft spot. Number 1 is Queen Street West. So Queen Street West is actually technically an experiential store. And that's because they have the attic space up top, which is actually a studio. So I've taken classes there. And it's got like exposed brick and it's beautiful. The whole place is super big, super chill. It's a lot of foot traffic. It's not in a mall. So it's just people kind of walking Queen Street West. And I just love the vibes. And I have a lot of friends that still work there as well. So, yeah.
Number 7, here we have favorite coffee spots.
Ooh.
So chains or even local places.
Okay, well, chains or local places. It's tough. In New York City, I'm going to say that number 5, don't hate me, Dunkin Donuts. It's something we didn't have in Canada, so it's just fun for us to go here, and I actually really like Dunkin. But I'm going to put it at number 5, conservative. Number 4, I'm going to put our local coffee shop, the Monkey Cup. And I'm putting it at number 4 only because they don't really have extensive menus for food beyond pastries. Whenever we go, it's just more of like a coffee stop and pastries. It's not really where you get bagels and sandwiches and other extensive things. But their coffee is really, really good. 3, we're going to go with Starbucks because they do have a full range of items to eat and drink. And of course, I don't know, I'm a basic girl. I love my Starbucks. I always have, always will. But it's ranking at number 3 only because we're in New York City and we got to find something else that's going to rank number 1. Number 2. This is the in-between spot because number 1 I already have in my head. But number 2, I'm going to say Bluestone Lane. And we haven't been as often as I would like since we've moved. So that's where I hesitate. But I love Bluestone Lane. Their coffee's delicious. It's an Australian coffee shop, but it is here in New York. They used to have them in Toronto. I think they've all closed. But delicious coffee, amazing avocado toast. I think there's like a banana peanut butter toast. Just lots of yummy options. And the quality of the coffee is really good. Number 1 is my favorite here, and that's Maman. MAMAN. And I love it. They've got so many food options. The coffee is delicious and aesthetically very pleasing. They are gorgeous. A lot of them have like beautiful branches and trees and flowers and lights. It's just really, really beautiful. And that's my number 1. Maman.
Okay, number 8 here. Controversial non-Lululemon clothing stores.
Whoa. Okay. Number 5, we're going to go with Joe Fresh. And that's going to sound insane, but I actually really love Joe Fresh for basics, for staples. And Joe Fresh is a Canadian brand, and it's out of Loblaws grocery stores. So honestly, I love their socks. I love their basics. I have many items that I've purchased from there in the past, but you know, in overall sense of quality, long lasting, maybe it's not going to be your best pick. And again, my number 1 is always Lululemon anyway, but just keep that in mind. So Joe Fresh, number 5. Number 4, we're going to go with Old Navy. You know, basic as well. Over the years, I have shopped there quite a bit, but we most recently shopped there for jeans. That's the first pair of jeans I've bought in like 3 years. So, Old Navy. Number 3, we're going to say Uniqlo. I have some items from there that I really, really like. Again, basics, staples, nice quality, not too expensive. And yeah, I've enjoyed my purchases from Uniqlo. Number 2. See, this has happened to me again. I know what my number 1 is, so then I can't think of what my number 2 is. I just want to say the Gap, because I've gotten a lot of really nice summer dresses from there. And they also have had jeans in the past that I've really enjoyed. We most recently went to a Gap and I didn't have any luck, but I feel like that always happens to me when we're shopping for something that's not Lululemon. You know, I'm going to strike out because it's not going to always have exactly what I want. So number 2, Gap. Nothing too crazy on these lists. You know, they're your basics. But number 1 is my favorite, is Anthropology. Fun fact, I almost worked there before I worked at Lululemon for the second time. But then Lululemon gave me a job and I had to turn down Anthropology because it happened kind of at the same time and I was supposed to be training for Anthropology, and then I got the call for Lululemon and my heart's with Lululemon. So I ended up respectfully declining or exiting the Anthropology contract.
Okay, number 9, your favorite workouts.
My favorite workouts. Oh my goodness. Okay. Number 5, I'm going to say like a cardio dance, anything that's like Zumba, cardio dance, or just dance. I love dance. Number 4, let's say mat Pilates. Love mat Pilates. Sometimes I feel like I want more of a sweaty workout, that the mat Pilates is just maybe low impact, but I didn't get a good sweat in, which is fine, but sometimes you want more sweaty. So that's why it's number 4. Number 3, this isn't a workout technically, but I'm going to say yoga. I'm going to say yoga and stretch because yoga technically is really more spiritual than it is a workout. But in North America, we have really kind of taken yoga from ancient Indian practices and turned it into this workout kind of thing. Where for me, when I studied yoga and went for my yoga training, learned more about yoga philosophy and how it's really not made for the purpose of getting a workout. But I'm going to put it as number 3 because I do think there are a lot of different styles of fitness that could benefit from the physical portion of yoga, as well as this sort of mind work, this breath work that you get from yoga as well. So I think as a whole body choice of movement, I think yoga is really beneficial, but I'm going to put it at number 3 just because it's technically more of a practice, more of a spiritual thing than it is just a workout. But I think it complements so many workouts so well. Anyways, I digress. Number 2, I'm going to say reformer Pilates. So Pilates, mat Pilates, so fun, so great. But I think with the reformer Pilates, with a mega reformer, something like Legree, it does give me that extra kick to get me more sweaty than mat Pilates does. I think it's more challenging because you are using a machine and kind of trying different exercises around the body and playing with sort of your own body weight and gravity and this machine and extra weight you can add on. There are a lot of elements to reformer Pilates that I find exciting and challenging. So reformer Pilates is number 2. And number 1, are we surprised? It's bar. Specifically, I teach bar 3 and I love bar 3. It's a combination of strength training, cardio, and mindfulness. So for me, that's sort of a well-rounded 60-minute workout class or sometimes 45 minutes. And it's really a full body workout, but it is low impact, so you're not jumping or leaving the floor. We still do use heavy weights. That was a new introduction in the last few years. We went from only 3-pound weights being the highest weight that you hold, and now we have 8-pound weights that we hold. So I do really enjoy the sort of strength training portion of class as well. But bar in general, it's similar to dance, but it's really not dance. So for me, I move to the music, move to the beat, love it. But it's not actually a dance class. So number 1 is bar.
And then the last list here is your favorite cities you've lived in.
Favorite cities that I've lived in. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, number 5, we're just going to throw it out to my hometown, Burlington, Ontario. Home is where the heart is, isn't it? Is that the same? I don't know. Where you came from. Nostalgia. I was born there. And I think it was nice to grow up outside of Toronto, but still be close enough that I ended up going to high school in Etobicoke. So I could sort of transit in to go to high school in Etobicoke, which is cool. Number 4, we're going to say This is going to be totally out there, but I know we talked about this before. I actually spent time in Italy, so I'm going to put it in there. Nova Feltria, Italy. It was a tiny town of like under 10,000 people. Might have been under 5,000, honestly, when I lived there. I just spent a summer there doing an opera program, and it was so fun to be in a small town. And I was not fluent in Italian at the time. I'm still not, but I was practicing more, and we really got to practice our Italian with Italian people because it wasn't as scary. People were so kind, and they knew that we were here visiting, and it wasn't a tourist trap. It wasn't a tourist spot. They were just people living their lives in Italian. And to them, some of them didn't really speak English. So it really was a challenge for us to communicate with people, but it was gorgeous. It was like small town, and it had cobblestone roads, and it had an opera house with a raked stage. So when we performed in the opera house, it was like on an angle. If you don't know what raked stage is, it means the stage isn't flat. The stage is raked so that the audience can be flat and you can still see what's going on the stage. So cool. But anyways, that was so fun. Loved living there. Number 3, we're going to go with... this is tough. I'm fighting between 2 choices in my brain, but I'm gonna say Boston. Boston is number 3 because I went to school there. I loved it so much. I love all of the people that I met there. I loved performing there. I loved the city. It's smaller than Toronto, so it feels a little bit more personal and not quaint, but it's also an old city. It has a lot of history, and I love that. You know that about me. I love ruins and architecture and old things. So I'm putting it at number 3 only because I feel like we're not planning to ever live there, you and I. So I don't think of it as like, I don't know, an option of where we're going to move, but hey, maybe we would. I'm not sure. I really did love it, honestly. Number 2, Toronto. Just because we have so many connections there. We've spent I've spent so much time there. But we just met in Toronto as well. It's the city where we met, and we performed together, and we have so many friends together who still live there. Our families always are in Toronto. And I don't know, it's just that, honestly, like I feel more connected to Toronto than I do Burlington. But that's why Burlington's number 5. Number 2, Toronto, Ontario. And number 1, New York City, of course. That's why we live here, because I'm obsessed with it. There's so much to do. It feels like Toronto times 100, times 1,000. You just have so many more businesses here, so many more people here. The subway line makes Toronto's subway line look like someone drew an X on a map, and that's it. So I just love that there's so much to explore in New York City. I love the vibe here, the energy, the people. And even though it's kind of a tough city to live in, I wouldn't change it for the world. So that's number 1 where I've lived. 2, Toronto. 3, Boston. 4, Nova Feltria. And 5, Burlington, Ontario, my home.
That's it. That's all of the things we were going to list.
Oh, my goodness. I feel like there's another one I want to do. I feel like I want to do favorite holidays.
Ooh, yeah.
Top 5 favorite holidays. So it's so hard for me to go from 5 to 1 because I feel like I'm messing it up, but we're going to try. Holidays, number 5. We're going to say Halloween. I'm not a big Halloween girl, but I do enjoy fall, and I do enjoy dressing up, but maybe not always under the pressure of Halloween, but I do love dressing up. So, and having a character and doing something fun like that. So number 5, Halloween. Number 4, let's say Valentine's Day, only because I love chocolate. So if there's an excuse to eat chocolate, I'm there. And I love pink and purple, and lots of pretty things happen for Valentine's Day. I've not always been so pro Valentine's Day as like the romantic holiday. I really feel like Valentine's Day is also a day to celebrate your friends and celebrate your family and the love that you have for them. Because I've spent many a Valentine's Day single. I never really fell into the, I don't know, like, oh, this is Single Awareness Day. It's sad. Like, yes, you can focus on that and you can think you're alone. But I don't know. I just think Valentine's Day is treat your friends too, or treat your family.
That's what it was in like elementary school.
Yeah, right? I loved that. Little Valentine's cards. And I loved that. So that vibe. We're going with elementary school vibes for Valentine's Day. I love it. And I'm also a big baker, so I used to make a lot of treats for Valentine's Day. Okay, number 3, we're going to say Thanksgiving because I love turkey. I love the meal. And it's actually, if you didn't know this, Thanksgiving in Canada is on a different day than it is in the US. It's in a different month. Does that make sense? No. But October is usually when Thanksgiving happens in Canada, and in the US, it is in November. And it's kind of a transition to Christmas. So for the US, Thanksgiving is the Macy's Day Parade in New York. And I love that it kind of guides you into Christmas because then Santa Claus is at the end of the parade. So spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the Macy's Day Parade, Santa makes an appearance at the end. But for the Canadians, it's in October. So as Canadian now in America, Ryan's a Canadian American. He's both. We're going to celebrate both. And that's kind of a fun thing. And I love turkey. So that was number 3. Number 2. This is my same problem. I know what number 1 is. What is number 2? You're going to send the message to me. What is number 2? I'm not a big Easter fan. I'm not a New Year's Eve fan. Ryan's like, nothing. There's nothing left.
Well, there's...
You know what number 1 is.
There's Canada Day and Independence Day.
Yeah, I'm also not big on those, honestly. Like, it's fun to... I don't know. Right now, I feel like celebrating countries and, I mean, same thing with Thanksgiving. It's a bit up in the air at the moment, but...
So there's the Memorial Day or May 24.
That's true, too.
Labor Day.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's a holiday, too. I'm trying to think, is there anything else like Valentine's Day?
Yes.
That's like a
St. Patrick's Day.
That? Oh, that's fun. Oh, man, I wouldn't say that's number 2, though. Kind of want to say... This is not a national holiday, but I kind of want to say birthdays, like in general.
Yeah.
I love celebrating birthdays. I'm a huge birthday person. So whether it's my birthday or your birthday, I love celebrating people's birthdays. I love making cakes. I love making a whole party themed about whatever you want, making people happy, celebrating life, celebrating your life. So we're going to say birthdays is number 2. That feels like a good number 2 spot. But I didn't think it was a holiday, so then I just got in my head about it and searched for all of the wrong answers that were not my favorite holiday. Number 1, it's Christmas. I'm such a Christmas girl. I know not everybody celebrates Christmas. So, I just love that time of year. I love, obviously, like the Christmas in North America festivities. And I'm so excited to be having Christmas in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited. Everything. There's going to be the Rockettes. There's going to be the Rockefeller Center with the tree. And I'm just so excited. I love Christmas food. It's also a Thanksgiving type meal, turkey. And yeah, I love everything Christmas. Dressing up for Christmas, decorating, cookies, baking.
Chocolate.
Oh my gosh, chocolate. I wonder if we're going to do like a Dress Like Jess challenge for the month of December. I feel like that'd be kind of fun. Last time we did a countdown to Christmas with dances where Ryan and I danced. So maybe we'll do that instead. I don't know. I'm taking suggestions. If you have a suggestion for us to choose what to do to count down to the holidays, let me know. Write it in the comments. But we're nearing the end of this episode. Before we sign off, Ryan and I have some news to share.
About the podcast?
We're taking a season break. So speaking of the holidays, we are going to be taking a break from the podcast. And we planned on doing this. In the last few weeks, we've been talking about it. We've been wrapping up some of the topics and some of the questions that we've been answering from our amazing audience and from this collection of questions that we received during the first two during the launch, and then a second giveaway that we did. We got lots of great questions, and I feel like we need to take a minute, regroup, come back to the podcast, potentially around the holidays. I think again, around this countdown to the holidays kind of vibes, and maybe explore similar topics. What do you want to get out of this, Ryan, for sort of a season 2 of the podcast? If this is season 1, what do you want for season 2?
Yeah, it's interesting because it felt like there was so many questions and topics based on all the questions that you got from everybody. But then we were getting a lot of the same sort of themes and questions and ideas from people. So I feel like we went through a lot of that during these 10 episodes. And it kind of all boils down to what we did today of people wanting to get to know you. So I feel like we need to figure out more of what makes Jess, and then do topics about each of those.
Right. I still feel like there's things we haven't talked about. I know I wanted to do an episode about being a dog mom. I wanted to talk about, being a dog mom in New York City, more about New York City. But I feel like for our experience so far, we've kind of captured what life is like for us right now. And I feel like coming back to this in a couple months, we might be able to reflect on some things in a little different way. And again, maybe it's a check-in every year we do what it's like to be a content creator in 2022, 2023, 2024. Are we going to be content creators in 2024? Who knows? Who knows what the landscape's going to look like? Who knows what we'll be doing? So I think that for now, we're going to wrap it up, take a little bit off. We're also traveling a bunch in the next couple of months. So we know that this is going to be a huge task for us to be able to find the time to do it. So I want to bring you episodes that we're really excited about, that we know you're going to like, and just talk about topics that we all enjoy. So I think that's pretty much the story and how it's going to change. But we're just taking a few months off. We're going to come back. Something I've been thinking about as well, but I don't know if we can logistically make it work, is could we do this podcast by interviewing and actually have guests on the podcast? Ryan and I had our own podcast for a year, and we maybe had 5 guests in a whole year because it's so hard for us to match up schedules with people, and us just co-hosting together is just so simple for us, and we can turn on the camera anytime we want. But if you do also have suggestions for that, if we could get people onto the podcast to discuss anything, Lululemon, fitness, New York City, life. Of course, it's going up on this YouTube channel as well as Spotify. And I feel like it could be cool to interview, but also, again, I want to hear from you. If you think it would be really great, let me know how to do it. If you want it to be a one-time thing, every episode is an interview and it's not weekly, or it is weekly and we've lined it all up properly, let me know. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget, use my link when you're shopping at Lululemon. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. Thank you for following me on TikTok, Instagram, and don't forget to sign up for my text list. It's new. We've got a new one. So it's time to sign up for that text list. I love you all so much. Bye.
Bye.